Nice meeting everyone. Before I start my story, it's very similar to Ray's. I want to show of hands how many parents or individuals here have children with autism. Raise your hands. Great. And how many have started CBD treatment? Okay. And here, some of you have not started. Okay, great. So I'll kind of share my journey, very similar to Ray, so I'm going to kind of cut a couple pieces out. But a holistic practitioner for 17 years, and I have two boys. They're 9 and 10 this year. Andrew was diagnosed with autism at 14 months. That was obviously, for everyone here, a very unusual diagnosis for parents to go through that. Like, you know, it happened, and what does autism really means at this point? So as he was developing, about 2 years old, he started having night terrors. Anyone here have children with night terrors? So about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, he wakes up incoherent, yelling and screaming, half asleep, half awake, and it was really hard for us to get him back to sleep. And then about 2.5 years old, he suffered his, he had his first grand mal seizure. That was fun, right? Emergency rooms and trying to figure out what it was, and CAT scans, MRIs, and the whole gamut of that. And the only thing the doctors told me was, oh, that's normal for children with autism to have these grand mal seizures. Okay, well, what's next? It was the Keppra, it was everything else. When he started school at 4, it got worse and worse and worse, nonverbal, some SIB behavior, right? So backs to the wall, and really not understanding what was next for me, but I didn't give up hope. I started my journey and trying to look to see what other holistic or other methodology was out there for parents like us. And I found a little video that was on YouTube, like any parent back in 2011, 2010, about CBD. So never got high, and I don't drink, I don't smoke. I'm pretty straight and boring kind of guy. OCD type A. How many OCD type A? All right, OCD type A, right? Everything has to have a reason and a rhyme. So from that point on, all in. CBD, THC, what is it? How do we get it? Does it work or not? Journey with you. I probably maybe cross paths with you driving from dispensary to dispensary to dispensary, starting in San Jose, all the way up to LA. Bud tenders are great if you want to get high, if you want a great edible. But for parents, I think 75% was, what is autism? Yeah. Never heard of it, right? So I bought everything I can get my hands on in the oil form, a syringe form, the green sludge that was out there with a little pencil mark on there, CBD only. I went home and became a little chemist. I basically made my own tincture, right? Having a science background, understanding titration and understanding drops and volumes and ratios, I started with the highest potency I could finally actually get on the bottle to really guess it was a 21-to-1 ratio. So Andrew loves Ritz crackers, mac and cheese, and chicken nuggets. Sound familiar, guys? Yeah. Right. First time I tried it on rice, smelled it, went like this, tactile. Nah, I wasn't gonna have it. Right. Put in a little soy milk, have separation, solubility. Wasn't gonna have it. So I did a little Ritz cracker. I diluted with some vegetable oil. I tried everything: vegetable oil, MCT oil, everything. And I did it 1 drop, which is equivalent to like 1 milligram per drop, right? And I put it in the freezer because I somehow remember if you seafood, you put it in the freezer, it doesn't smell as bad when it comes back out. I defrost it, and I put about 10. I started really slow, about 10 milligrams, right? Before he went to sleep. So I put about 15 Ritz crackers, 10 medicated, 5 unmedicated, and I put it in a bowl because that's our normally snack before he goes to sleep, and I walk away. Because if you don't, what happens, guys? Right? What's Dad up to? Right? Come on, right? Like, what do you want me to eat today? It's like having a dog. You put a pill in the meat, and the dog goes, "Okay, meat." Spits out the pill, right? So I walk away. I'm like, oh, God, my heart's pounding. And I turn around, it's gone. I'm like, yes. So he took it. So I'm very data-oriented. I was doing, in med school, you're taught SOAP, subjective objective assessment planning. I went 0 as normal, as can be, and 10 being just really, behavioral. And I just tracked everything from his sleep patterns, his eye movements. I went totally geeked out on my son, like watching at night, taking little notes at night. Did he twitch? Okay, right, let's twitch. So I didn't want it. Obviously, it was easy for us to get all of our children high with THC. I don't like using the word high. I like to use the word medicated, right? So we're medicating our children, and you know the THC is what they need to go for it. But if not, I just want him to sleep at night and let the body heal itself, right? And that's all we want. Just the children sleep at night, heal, and see what happens the next day. So I started out 21-1 and went 10 drops. Finally got him to take that routine. And I tried a little bit of honey sometimes too, because sometimes if the oil was too thick or too green or discoloration, I'd put honey into it, and kids love honey, so he ate it right away too. So about for 6 weeks, no significant findings, nothing. Went down to 18-1 because my brain said, all right, let's titrate him slowly, right? 18-1, no significant change. Went to 11-1, it was on a Wednesday. I bumped it up to 20 drops at night. And 3 o'clock is when my timer goes off. I'm the night shift. My wife hates waking up at night. So she's the morning, I'm the night. So I try to go early. Andrew goes on sleep. At 3 o'clock, I wake up, get everything ready for him. Tiles, if he has a grand mal seizure and he defecates on himself. A co-pack, ready pack to go if we need to go to ER. I mean, that was my OCD-ness. I was just laid everything out, ready to go. Because it happens so many times, right? So 11 to 12, he's sleeping really good respiration, no eye movement. 3 o'clock, I'm ready for him to wake up. He's still asleep. 4 o'clock, still asleep. Now I'm concerned that I gave him too much THC, and he's like really happy, Andrew. About three or four like twitches, and then about 6 o'clock, he's still asleep. I'm freaking out. I'm like, adverse reaction, right? This is not normal. 6:15, wakes up, looks at me, does his normal, hi dad, in the morning, goes to the bathroom. I'm like, what was that? That's not Andrew, right? Thursday, Friday, Saturday, right? I mean, come on, really? So my wife and I are like, happy but pissed. And that piss was, seriously, this is all it was? A chemical derived from a plant now changed my son's sleep patterns. And he's not autistic free, don't get me wrong. But I just, like, nights and nights and nights, just ask God, just let him sleep. Sorry, guys. I said to myself I wouldn't cry, but it's coming out. So with that, my life switched to, okay, now it works. Now I know what this word means. Now what? I turned my life around, all about research, CB1, 2 receptor sites, tried to gather as much information I have on a sponge on the internet. It's all anecdotal. Then I had a crazy idea because I kept on going to dispensaries. Dude, do you test this stuff? Is it pesticide free? Like, where is that universal symbol that this stuff is safe for our kids? Or just any adult or anyone? Well, a lot of manufacturers are supposed to do it. We just sell this stuff, so we're not going to test it. Well, that's asinine. You're a medical cannabis dispensary in California, and for all the list of medical conditions, why the hell are you not doing it as a business owner, as a human being? Well, it costs too much. I'm like, wow. So I walk out. So then I go, I'm going to learn how to make my own oil. My wife goes, okay. What does that mean? Well, I don't know what that means either, but I'm going to find out. So once I got my boss to approve my crazy idea, sold my practice, sold some real estate, had some big chunk of money there, and I learned how to extract. So what BAS Research is my journey, how to find out how to cultivate, how to extract, make oil, and that's all we do. We do one thing well. My dad taught me a long time ago, my dad's my hero, by the way, a long time ago, that you do one thing, you do it well, and everything else takes care of itself. I don't make my own products. I don't cultivate. I take great biomass from great farmers, cultivators in California, and we're licensed in Berkeley. So my journey, how to get my license, was I stalked every single mayor that I could in 2014 to give me the right to start this company to extract. It was, no, you got to do verticality model in California. No, we're not really knowing what CO2 does, or we don't want to do hydrocarbon extraction and all that stuff because we want to see if Colorado's going to blow each other up. I mean, that's the little bit of knowledge that mayors and city staff and fire departments were just challenging me. It's like, well, just buy it. I said, well, hold on. You're not allowing me to have a Type 6 non-volatile extraction license in California. Where do you think I'm buying the oil from right now? From the gray market that don't have standards, that don't have a permit, that don't test for, may not have tests for pesticides, and I'm giving to my son as a supplement and a medication to his seizures and autism. That's kind of back-ass thinking, don't you think? Okay, Val, so I stalked Mayor Tom Bates of Berkeley, I spammed him, sent him articles. I literally was, for 3 months, spamming the mayor so much that the city attorney said, Dr. Lee, respectfully stop spamming the mayor. I said, Mr. City Attorney of Berkeley, respectfully, give me a 2-hour freaking meeting with him. You want me to stop? I'm a doctor with a child that needs great oil because it works. Give me a freaking meeting. They gave me a meeting, 2-hour meeting. I pitched what I wanted to do. The city attorney was questioning, my advocacy. Am I a Vietnamese gang member trying to sell underground weed? Come on, guy, really? Sorry, all right, sorry, truth comes out. So here you go, right? Here you go. What happens next is very interesting. The mayor looks at me and goes, Bao, why do you really want to do this business in Berkeley? I showed him a video of Andrew having night terror, grand mal seizure, and he defecated himself on one video. I passed the phone to the city manager, the city attorney, the chief of police, and the police department, the chief of fire marshal, Tony Yin. At that time, I don't think there was a dry eye in the room because I think they were human now, most of the city staff. And then the mayor goes, I want 2 things from you. I go, okay. One thing, I want you to do the right thing. Second, don't make me look bad. And he leaves the room. So the city attorney looks at me, was that a yes or a no? I said, I think that's a yes. So in November of 2015, the city attorney's office said, Dr. Lee, you impacted the mayor. The city of Berkeley can support you to do this manufacturing business. Congratulations, come and fill out the permit. That milestone just flipped my world upside down. Now we have CO2 extractor machines. So you use essential oils, eucalyptus, peppermint. Is it safe? Well, my point is that if people can aerate that and aerosolize that, and you put it on your skin as essential oils, CO2 is the same machine that people take plant matter, eucalyptus plant, peppermint plant, to make essential oils. So I was like, well, why, if it's safe for nutraceutical, why can't I use that for cannabis? So which I did. It's a plant. Cannabis is a plant. So you extract the CBD, terpenes, and THC out, and you fraction it, and it's safe, and it's to the point where you can test every single part of it and make sure the pesticide levels, microbial levels, which is yeast and mold, to make it safe. So when I hit that milestone that we're making our oil, my own oil for Andrew, as parents here, you need to do 3 things that I did. Learn about CBD and what the benefits are. Find the source that you can trust. Go to that source and ask them questions. And lastly, start slow and document everything, because everyone knows what the triggers are here, right? As parents, I don't know how age groups are here, but there are triggers to our children with autism, and we know what those triggers are, right? So to me, when I see that happening, where I have a daily regimen, it took me 6 months to figure out Andrew's ratio and percent of CBD and THC. 6 months is a long time to believe in something and not give up hope. So really, I'm here to share my story for everyone here not to give up hope. There's always a solution. You have to be observant, and you have to ask people that have gone through it and really ask the right questions, and don't feel that you're asking too many questions, and don't feel that we can't hug each other and help each other because it's all about our children. So after this thing, if you want to go to info@BAS Research, like I said, I don't make my own products, but I sell and also support groups that make products, and we got to talk, because I love to donate a large portion of what we're doing to organizations that have that front facing, because that front facing needs that support, not only financially, but operators and business. Because once we get rid of all the fundraising and what you're trying to do and raise money, and you can focus on actually helping people, that's when it's more impactful. So thank you for having me. And like I said, after the talk, if you want to go one-on-one with me, or just email us at info@basresearch.com. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.